morning and welcome to the Treehouse. This is Kag with the View from Above tarot reading for Wednesday, October 2nd. And I want to remind us that this afternoon at 1:57 p.m. we have a new moon in Libra, and we also have a solar eclipse. And where I am in South Dakota, we'll only see about 75% of the totality. This eclipse shadow will go from Texas up to Maine, and so that's where the totality will be. If you are going to look at the sun, regardless of where you are, you need special glasses or you need a pin viewer where the shadow is shown on the ground. Do not look at the sun directly. And there will be lots of pictures out on the internet of the eclipse. So if you are in school or at work or in a place where you can't view it, and don't view it without your glasses, there will be lots of beautiful pictures out on the internet for you to view. So this morning we are going to do a reflective spread on family. And so this is again going to be for the collective, but I invite you to think about whether you want this to be applicable to your family of origin or your family of choice, or just your family in general. But that is kind of how I'm going to read the cards today in context of family relationships. And this is our new project for this next 8 days, right? To read things just a little bit differently with something specific in mind rather than just general. And so let me just review the spread. This is where we are at the moment. This is the challenge to be integrated. This is our frame of reference that we're coming from. This is the past influence, our conscious mind's focus, and where we're headed, and Meriwether at the bottom of the deck. So in terms of relationships, let us look to see what we have. Again, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates for you and leave the rest. And you may find one or two cards that speak directly to some aspect of your relationship with whichever family you choose to apply this reading. So when we are looking at family, we are looking at the give and take. The Six of Pentacles is about the giving and receiving of resources in particular. Sometimes it's actually money itself. And if you look here, the fellow in the red coat is dropping coins into this particular beggar's hands. And it looks like he has dropped two already and has just dropped these two and still is holding back two in his hands. He is holding the scale in order to try to make it fair. And he hasn't given this fellow any money here. So when we are talking about the Six of Pentacles, and in terms of family, we're talking about the giving and receiving of resources. And frequently, parents will try to be equal with their children, but the truth is that it's really difficult to be equal because no two children are the same. So my mother would try really hard to make things equal at Christmas if she had to wrap a pair of socks, each sock individually, in order to make the count right. But the truth was it didn't really make it any more equal. Yes, we all had the same number of packages, but the resources that were distributed in my family of origin were not really equal. And so when we think about our families, either of origin or in the families that we are creating, we need to think about the fact that equality isn't always fair. Sometimes we need to give different people require different resources. And so just to be aware of that as we think about our family relationships. Our influence or challenge is about a new project. The Page of Pentacles is somebody who is really enamored of a new project. So there's something new going on in this family of ours that may be specific to you or may be a general project that the whole family is involved in. And so whatever that is, it is about not being so focused on the project that the family gets ignored. And that happens sometimes when one member of the family is really involved in a particular project. It can really marginalize other members of the family. And so this is part of our challenge here, is to not be so focused on what it is that we are doing to the extent that we marginalize the people that we mostly love and care about. Mostly love and care about. I wonder if that's Freudian. At any rate, I will pull a card for the page at the end of this reading to see what his specific message is for us today. So where are we coming? What's the frame of reference? We are coming from the Seven of Wands, which is a place of wanting to be of being ourselves, of being able to articulate and defend ourselves on a dime, which means that we are really, really open about saying, yeah, I don't want to do this, or yes, I do want to do this, but really being ourselves in the context of our family, which is really what we want to be. We want to be our genuine self with our family. Sometimes when families are a little more complicated, we can't really do that. And it isn't always safe to be our complete and total self, especially in families of origin, as opposed to families of creation. I hope that we are all able to be our true selves in our family of creation. It would be nice if we could always be our true selves in our family of origin, but trauma is an eventuality of anybody's participation in growing up in a family. And whether that is at the hands of siblings or parents or the separation of parents, whatever that is, we all have some experience of trauma. And so this card being our frame of reference is how do I present my real self to this family that I'm talking about? And sometimes that is really a challenge. He's not fighting it. He's not fighting other people in order to be himself. And sometimes when we are in a situation where it is, especially in a family of origin, where it is a difficult situation, what we have to do is lay low and wait it out until we can get out of the family to be our own selves. So take what resonates for you. Some of us were blessed with growing up in really helpful and healthy families, but not all of us did. So the past influences in this situation that we're talking about is the Six of Swords. So we now have two sixes. And the Six of Swords is relying on somebody to help us to get out of troubled waters. And perhaps we have had somebody that has helped us get out of these more turbulent waters into something more calm. And maybe we have done this ourselves. Maybe this has been the way that we managed our family of origin, is to move away, to get away from the turbulence in order to be in a place of more calm. Hard to say about this. So if we are talking about the giving and taking of resources here, and we've got a new project, we have been warned not to marginalize our family members. On the other hand, maybe we have needed to. In order to be ourselves, perhaps we have had to move away in order to have calmer water. But let's look and see what is on our mind at this moment, and that is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is a blessing from the holy, from the universe, from our higher selves. This is the outward sharing of wisdom. This is education as it is given out to others. So the comparable partner card to the Hierophant is the High Priestess, which we had yesterday. And she is the deep internal knowing of something, of that wisdom. The Hierophant is the external expression of that wisdom. And so that is our focus today, is what is it that we have learned? What is it that we know that we need to outwardly share? And perhaps all of this is what we are focused on, is sharing that information with our family, whatever that family is. We've got this, and that may be our new project here, is that we have realized that we need to share our real self with our families, knowing that we have come from a place of wanting to share and to give resources. That this has been somewhat of a rocky place, and we have moved ourselves into someplace a little more calm, which gives us the possibility of being able to express what we have learned. So where we're headed here is the Three of Swords, which is speaking from the heart. And so now, in terms of what our family situation is here, we are aware of the fact that giving and receiving sometimes has strings. We've got a new project, and maybe this is the speaking of truth to our family members, being willing to show our true selves to all of those members of our family, as difficult as that might be, which is moving from a more turbulent place into something more calm. Sixes are the cards of unequal relationships, where we really are depending on other people, whether we are depending on this guy in the red robe, or we are depending on the boatman here, or we are that person, right, in our families. Perhaps that is what we are bringing into the situation, is that we are calming things down in our family. Maybe that is our gift. Maybe that is what we are expressing. And we are expressing that from a place of truth, from a wounded heart, healed certainly, but certainly aware of the fact that we have been wounded in some way, shape, or form. So let's look at the bottom of the deck, and we have another card of expansion. We have those 2 sixes, which is the uneven relationship. We also now have 2 threes, which is expansion. And so this card of the 3 of Cups is a card of joy and celebration. And so that actually is a lovely blessing for whatever upheavals are going on in our families of origin or our families of creation, having to do with the sharing of resources and the ability for us to be our true selves and being able to articulate that out into the world. And perhaps that is what is allowing us to heal and then move to this place of joy, being willing to share. Resources aren't always money, right? Resources can also be truth. They can also be our intellect, our logic, the thoughts that we have. And maybe that's what this is all about, is being willing to share our feelings and our truths with others, being willing to show our true selves, being a part of the solution of moving to a calmer place and expressing that which we know. So I need to tell us about what our Page of Pentacles message is. And so we'll just give a quick shuffle here and see what it is that his message of that project is. And his message is that there is going to be conflict, that there is conflict. There's always conflict, right? In any family, there's going to be conflict. And he is holding those swords by the handle, not by the blades. And so this, whatever this conflict is, it's over. We are finished with that. He's either picking up the swords or he's putting them down, but we're not going to fight about whatever this is anymore. So let's look back once more about what it is we're talking about here. We're talking about a place of inequality, and there is a new project here, and the project isn't necessarily something new that you're doing. It might be something about being willing to share your true self with your family. You're not going to fight with yourself about it anymore. You just want to come clean and be truthful about whatever it is that's on your mind, and willing to share that, and coming from a place of honesty and hurt perhaps, but truth. And ultimately what happens is that there is joy that happens when we are willing to share something that is honest and deep within ourselves, with our families. So that's an interesting reading. Again, let me just to caution you that this is a general reading about family. And so take what resonates for you, but leave the rest, because it may not apply to you. And if in some way, shape, or form this was helpful, and I hope that it was, I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. And come back tomorrow. And I'm not sure that I remember exactly what we're going to talk about tomorrow. When I look at my list, it looks like tomorrow we're going to take on investments or expenditures. We're going to talk about money tomorrow, the actual money. And so anyway, I invite you back to the treehouse tomorrow for a view from above as we try these new sorts of readings here in October. Blessings.